We have never blind tasted against each other. But wine for us is something you use to unwind at the end of the day. And so we try to make it with each other when we share our wine, you know, low key and just sort of get to talking. And so, yeah, this is going to be a first.
I guess when we met, we just start talking about something and we just had the same interests. Like we were both members of this very esoteric nonprofit in Tucson. It's called Native Seed Search. The idea is to help preserve heirloom seeds that are grown by natives in the Southwest. And I was like, oh my God, you're my person. Like, you love this kind of weird agricultural esoterica like I do. You know, I had worked in nonprofit world for a long time before I worked with Steve, and, you know, we just decided to work together and start a business together. We learned a lot about the business together, but, you know, we've always, like, trusted each other's opinions and input and, you know, kind of, we have the same sensibility about how to approach the business. You know, we had to learn how to do marketing, but we have the same sensibility about that. The fact that we have the same interests and like the same wines, like we both weren't that experienced at all with wine when we started dating. And at one point, kind of like 5 years into our business, I said to Steve, like, what if we didn't like the same kind of wine? And he said, oh, that never would have happened. We wouldn't have like gotten married if that, you know, I was like, we didn't even know about wine when we got married. So like, It just was, you know. Yeah.
But like, you know, like the taste we have in wine is based on values, it's based on a sensibility and aesthetic, it's, you know, a lifestyle, and so that's all stuff that we already shared.
Steve has a ton more experience. I mean, he's like tasting wine all day and really like thinks about it and breaks it down. And for me, it's like Steve said, at the end of the day, relaxing. I don't want to think too much about it. I just want to sit there and enjoy a glass with my meal. So Steve has a ton more experience.
But I'm a terrible blind taster. You know, I mean, most of my wine experience in my whole career has been tasting young wines that aren't released yet. And so, you know, you're tasting for defects, you're tasting to try to think about where they're going, you're tasting for blending, you're tasting to understand the vineyard. A lot of my vineyard consulting over the years will taste the wines and we go, oh, this block is, the vines are growing too much, it's too herbal, here the wine's kind of bitter, maybe the wines are weak. So you're tasting it, these young wines in relation to solving a problem. And so we neither one of us have ever worked in a wine buying capacity in a restaurant or a shop or any of the wine trade. And so the wines of the world, we're consumers. And so we've had an opportunity to, just because we are in the wine business, to taste a lot of wines, but not in a professional capacity like a sommelier or someone would. So whenever we get a blind tasting of some kind of a mature wine, we're sort of like scratching our head and trying to not embarrass ourselves, basically. We shall see.
Just so you know, I'm a terrible blind taster. All right.
How are we going to do this? You want to taste first?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Should you pour it for me?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm scared. Okay, look at but the color. Look at the color on that thing. This is mine to guess, huh? Actually, okay, so it's orange in color. That's the first hint, right? That's good. And I didn't see any new wine coming in, although there was some new wine that went into the winery. So this is probably, I assume this is something that we have in our cellar. So, but we have a lot of wine in our cellar. So I don't know if you went out and bought wine for this, but I kind of doubt it. There's a little bit of funk in there, in a good way. You picked interesting wine.
Yeah, well, you drink a lot of orange wine.
I drink a lot of orange wine.
It's great with food.
It goes with a lot of the food we like to eat. It's definitely a little bit funky on the nose. You can smell it from a little ways away. Can I ask for hints? I have to taste it first. Should I ask like yes or no questions, like 20 questions? Let's see. Well, okay, is this a wine that I've had, like the wine or the producer or something like that?
You have had this. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty brutal to do a blind tasting if you have never had the wine.
Okay.
I guess. It'd be interesting to see, since these are couples doing this, like.
People have to be nice.
It'd be like renting a tandem bicycle or something like that. Like, a lot of stuff's gonna come out.
And is it wine that, and it's something that we have at the house that we've been drinking, kind of maybe more recently, like a smaller producer or something like that, that we maybe recently discovered?
Yeah, that's true. Yep, all of that. And you can kind of tell just looking at it, we can make I think, a pretty safe guess that it's a small producer.
Yeah, it's a small producer, maybe kind of family sort of situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, just based on you maybe throwing me, what?
I was curious what you think some of the flavors are and what you think the weight of it is.
Of the flavors, you're not gonna ask me that. That's what I'm not good at. You can't ask me that. I mean,
to me, it's highly unusual. That's what's like. I couldn't even put my finger in.
But there's
what the
like a little
are.
like tropical, like pineapple-y or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe. Kind of a like less ripe pineapple. But it's a lot of texture, a lot of mouthfeel, right?
Yeah, weight without heaviness on this one, huh? It was super light.
Yeah, and it's been open for a little while, so it's probably like opened up a little bit, so that's good, actually. Just based on me requesting that Steve not like make it too hard. And we've been drinking this really cool wine from this really esoteric producer that we discovered through a friend. So my guess is it's the Oscar Mayer wine. It's like grapes from like Serbia, and they're like grapes we've never heard of probably before or anything like that. So final answer, Oscar Mayer something. No. Okay, I'm gonna pour you this wine. I was trying to give you something that would...
That wine's delicious.
That wine's really good.
It's really good.
I'm not sure really what it is, but...
It's like pineapple kombucha. Here we go. It's a red wine. You can tell that.
All right, I try to pick something that has some significance.
Okay.
So I thought it would be fun to talk about.
So there's a little bit of age on this. Yeah, it has a little bit of age, kind of red fruits and dark fruits. And a nice acidity, bright, but full. You know, it could be sort of a Southern Rhone with that fullness, but it's real juicy. Could be a Zinfandel. Zinfandel's a little tough when it gets a little bit of age because it gets a little more savory and it's not, the juiciness and that core red fruit kind of tones down and it gets a little bit more, a little earthier, I guess. But if it's a Zinfandel, it's like an old school Zinfandel. I don't know, like something like Ridge or something like, like maybe a Napa producer, like a Turley or something like that. It's the best I got on this one. It's delicious though. I'm gonna say it's 10 or 15-year-old California Zinfandel with someone who has an older school classic mentality.
Here, you do yours first.
Well, with Jill's wine, my idea was if we just go so hard no one can get it, then it kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, and it's just fun to talk about. Limerick Lane. So Limerick Lane, this is one of my best friends, Jake Bilbro, and I helped with the vines. This is 2013, 1910 block Zinfandel, Russian River Valley, Sonoma County, Limerick Lane. So these are old Zinfandel vines on Limerick Lane, just south of Healdsburg, Russian River Valley. I know this vineyard super well, but we spent probably 6 or 7 years trying to revive these old vines. And now Morgan Twain Peterson is helping him because he's right down the same street on Limerick Lane, so I haven't been there in a couple of years now to look at the vineyard. It's cool to see how this wine is held up. It's really getting good. Well, it was good already, but yeah.
No, it was like something that had meaning, that, connection. And I mean, Zinfandel is very distinctive and kind of a unique, in all the different forms and specific. So it wouldn't be like a variety that could have been grown in like 10 different regions, It's like, so. But also Steve worked in Lodi and, has a lot of history with Zinfandel, even though we don't really make that much Zinfandel. We make a little bit though. We made Zinfandel from this vineyard.
This vineyard we made Zinfandel.
So
3 years in a row, but the younger vines that we planted together at the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out what Steve picked for me from this very fancy bag. Very cute bag. And
you're correct. Oscar Mauer.
Oscar Mauer.
From Serbia.
It says Mauer Oscar, so maybe that's really.
You gotta read the back label.
Okay, so the back label. The name of the wine is Kovidinka. It's a 2018 vintage. Planted in 1925, 5 days skin contact, unfiltered and unfined with low sulfur content. We strive for the highest degree of naturalness during the great production of winemaking. He was trying to give me something really easy to figure out. We just got this case and we've been drinking a bunch of this wine. So I was like, well.
Yeah, we got a mixed case. She hasn't had this exact wine, but she's had other wines by this producer in the last couple months. And our friend imports this, Eric Danch, and he's been digging into these wineries that it's so cool because it's just like the roots of winemaking. This is Serbia. He's bringing in wine from Georgia and wine from all over that area, like Romania. And so these are like younger vines for this producer. They have stuff from 1880s. And he was in this guy, Oscar Mauer, was fought in the war in Serbia and had really bad PTSD. And part of his self-care is going back and rediscovering his culture through these old vineyards that he's reviving. It's really cool.
And he's got like this little inn and bed and breakfast at his property. Like we saw pictures, we went on his website, and he's like serves this amazing food from his garden if you go visit him. So
yeah, that's going to be a trip
on our list to go visit this guy. So.